The question of spirituality is an interesting one, I think, and if I'd like to hear your thoughts on this as well. But me personally, I was raised in the Christian tradition of Protestantism. Uh,
Yep, same.
it was Methodist. I was raised Methodist, but
Okay.
it was pretty, non-denominational, like sort of reformist. Jesus was like a hippie. He didn't really expel the merchants from the temple with a whip. That's just a story. That kind of weak, materialistic Christianity that's so pervasive nowadays. And so I turned away from that and have become more agnostic over time. But the past couple of years, just reading about history and reading about the ancient stories of our ancestors, really getting a connection with the past has opened up some spirituality and a reverence for nature, and in particular the sun and some things like that. So I would primarily say, if someone asked, yeah, I'm agnostic. I have neither the ego to say that there is or is not a God, but I do also recognize the spirituality of nature, and that there are some good things in this world, and that there may be a higher power. I don't really know, but
That's very interesting. A lot of your comments resonate with me. I was raised in the United Church tradition, which was a merger of the Methodist, the Presbyterian, and one other denomination specifically, and they united into the United Church of Canada. And
right.
I reject a lot of the concepts of modern organized religion. I don't like many aspects of it. This whole listen to the preacher, listen to what I tell you, and follow blindly. There are many problems with organized religion. However, I still do believe in the stories of the Bible, and I've learned a lot from them. And I believe that Jesus Christ was a real historical figure who
Oh, there's
did,
no denying that. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. This is
who,
the problem with a lot of people in the right, the sort of new nationalist movements, is that they tend to be very antagonistic towards Christianity. And
yeah,
yeah, I understand it's been perverted. I get that. But
yeah.
to deny over 1,000 years of European Christianity is just ridiculous. And to deny the ancient figure of Christ, who, as far as I can tell, was a real person, and some of
Now,
the things in the Bible are good teachings. But
there were many problems with how the Christian movement infiltrated and came to be within the European paganistic sphere. Because I also resonate very strongly with the pagan tradition. I have often said that if I were to be reincarnated, and I actually believe in the concept of reincarnation, I have looked into Buddhism, and I actually did like a
well,
full year university
it,
course on it.
for anyone who doesn't know, reincarnation is a very key aspect of European paganism. It's
Sure.
it's one of the core tenets of how you live your life. It has to do with the concept of honor, or the more ancient turn of phrase hamaganga, which is to be walking in shapes. You're never
Mm.
truly dead if you have an honorable spirit. So that kind of thing, that's the sort of spiritualism I'd like to revive. This sort of hero worship stuff.
Same here. And this message is something that the individualists will never have. They will never have.
Exactly. They have no
Um,
higher they have no
side.
higher thoughts. They have no hero worship. Eh, some people think that, oh, you're a pagan. You literally believe that there's, a bunch of horses pulling the moon across the sky. And it's like, no. It's just like, I look towards these beings as being the penultimate of humanity. They're the sort of like, if I kind of, I want to have the wisdom of someone like Odin. I want to have the strength of someone like Thor, and I want to embrace
Mm.
the beauty and fertility of someone like Freya. It's like I look towards these things as higher concepts.
Freya is in the chat as we speak. And concepts like pranya, which is the Hindu or what's their language? Hindu is sans. I can't remember what it's the language. Pranya. It means the breath of life. Like the breath, each breath that you take is literally you're inspiring life. You're taking in the energy that is provided to around you, and when you connect your soul, the soles of your feet, with the grass and the earth beneath you, you are connecting to the spirit, the energy of the earth. And then you lift your eyes up to the heavens, and you can connect with that as well. This is
Right.
actually why I use this profile picture that I
Yeah, I
have.
noticed.
This is the artwork of Alex Gray, who, he attempted to bridge the gap between the physical and the spiritual. So you've got to have your feet firmly grounded within the physical realm, but you also have to acknowledge that there is something higher than you out there. And I do believe in a higher organizing factor, whether it's this beard-like figure of God that the Christians use to
Right.
represent. And I mean, I'm Christian myself, but I have such a resonance and such a sympathy with pagan beliefs as well. Yeah, and I
Well,
don't think there's a contradiction to those two positions.
no, I mean, in European Christianity, this is something that people overlook is that, they say, "Oh, it's a desert cult and all this," but European Christianity absorbed a lot of pagan values. Like
Right.
when you celebrate Christmas, I might be celebrating the winter solstice. So we can come together and shake hands, kind of cross borders and say, hey, we're still respectful towards one another. I don't want religion to be a divider in the nationalist movement. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. Um, Good comment here from my friend Aaron Kasparov. They did the same thing with the Bible as they did with the saying under the Statue of Liberty, all men are created equal. They twisted it to fit the white genocide narrative. Yeah, that's
Yep.
I do agree with that. Excuse me.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, and
well, yep.
one last thing to anyone out there who feels that they have a lack of spirituality, if you're, a white European and you're looking for spirituality, next time winter comes around, travel to somewhere where they're getting a lot of snow. Go out into the wilderness where it's snowing, and just stand around like in a forest, where it's cold, it's snowy, it's quiet. Just sit there and listen to the sounds of nature. Just breathe it all in, breathe in that natural air. You will feel your spirituality coming back to you. And this is what happened to me many, many years ago. It's like I was walking through a field up near the Canadian border visiting family. And it was just me. I was all alone. It was early in the morning. The sun's sort of coming up over the horizon. It's quiet. It's cold. It's snowy all around, and you really get this sense of interconnectivity to the world around you. It's very interesting.
Mm, that's beautiful. I have had similar experiences. I remember um, literally walking and dancing naked after a rainstorm. I was living on, this is when I was in university. I was in my early 20s, and I was working on the university campus over the summer, and I was living in one of the residences, and it bordered a forest, and there was this meadow that I often used to walk through, and it had just recently rained. And I went out there and I literally just tore off all of my clothes and I spent the next, half an hour just like, prancing around, and it was just me. It was just me. It was just myself. There was no judgment. There was no fear of anything. It was just me. And it was, you know,
I,
you can
I wouldn't go that far, but sure, yeah, man, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, no, Dancing with the Fairies. No, no, I'm not talking about some sort of airy fairy thing. I'm talking about something that was
I'm
very
just messing
real
with
and
you.
personal to me. And everyone, they're going to find their own personal connection to the earth energy and to spirituality in their own sense. It's different for everyone, but we have to, I suppose, not normalize these things, but get back to them in some sense because we often I don't know, we live in such isolated little bubbles of technology all of the time, and we're never, I don't know, it seems we're never permitted to just be at one with ourselves and with nature. And
Right.
any moment you have that you can, go and take advantage of that, whether it be hiking, camping, whatever, just taking your shoes off and walking in the grass in the summer. Like that's just something very simple that you can do to reestablish a connection to something that's
I
bigger
think
than
I
yourself.
think scared the disciple of Bugs Bunny. He says that's not a pleasant picture, especially while I'm eating.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Trigger warning.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.